Meet Terry and Carrie. They want an RV. Really, they want the freedom that comes with being able to pick up whenever they want and to move from one breathtaking view to another. The kind of freedom that takes them across the country and beyond, living their dream. But if they buy the wrong RV, it might actually pop their dream world. Maybe they pick one that's too heavy to tow for their vehicle, or go with the wrong dealership who won't service their RV. There are questions to ask before they buy, and even more once they become an owner. Thankfully, there's the RV Advisor, the only non-biased platform for information for the RV and outdoor enthusiasts. Get the best tips, tricks, and discounts at all KOA nationwide campgrounds and other huge discounts that every RV enthusiast will love. Now, Terry and Carrie are living the life exactly how they want. Join the RV Advisor family and enjoy everything you need to maximize your RV experience.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander, and I'm joined by a returning guest from the website Black Folks Camp 2. It is Earl Hunter, the founder, he does it all. Earl Hunter does it all at Black Folks Camp 2. Earl, how are you?
I'm fantastic, my friend. You know, I always tell folks, Tom, that I've never had a bad day in my life. And I always also tell folks my name is Earl B. Hunter Jr., man.
Earl B. Hunter Jr. So yeah, we'll make sure to the full name, Earl B. Hunter Jr. And right now you're speaking to us from Western North Carolina. And the last time you were on the show, it's a great cap, by the way. I love that cap. Yeah. The last time you were on the show was actually on March 23rd of this year. So we were all at the time just being indoctrinated into this COVID world. We literally were just experiencing it for the first time and trying to make sense of it all.
Right.
And the NBA had shut down and
everything is shut down.
But the NBA was the first league to say we're done. And then everything after that, it just steamrolled and here we are today, and right on the, we're in October. By the time this airs, it'll be October. So it's unbelievable. We're all kind of veterans of this experience now. How has this affected you personally and your site and your group?
So personally, it affected quite a bit because, you not only just have yourself, but you have your family, you have your friends that can't come over, you can't speak to folks in regards to seeing them face to face. So you have those issues. In regards to the industry, actually, as you know, the RV industry has had an amazing run in regards to this particular space. The industry is up amazingly, whether it be from the RV industry or every other in the outdoor industry. Everyone wanted to get outside. And so from a business perspective, we actually trended pretty well because of the fact that our business, our company, what we do is remove fear, add knowledge, and invite more Black folks to enjoy the outdoors. So, that was one of the things. So in March, I would say that we had about maybe 5,000, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 followers. Now we got almost 10,000, right? And so what we found is that the educational information that we've given to folks about RVing, about just being outdoors, is working, right? And we're good at what we do. Our communication, our content, because in the end of the day, Tom, there wasn't any content really out there in regards to Black folks really RVing, really in the outdoors. We've seen some RVing, we've seen some groups that are out there doing some amazing things RVing, but in regards to content, true content of folks from all different walks of life wanting to RV, we hadn't seen that. We hadn't seen that we know it's out there, but folks have not put that information in spaces where everyone can see it, so everyone can know that they can do it too.
Yeah, and there's just, so much that you're doing, and
Right.
folks that want to learn more about it. It's really simple. It's exactly what the name of the group is. It's
Yeah.
Black Folks Camp 2.
And two means also. Yeah, two means also. When we first started this company,
Right.
I'm in the South, man. I got to tell you, I'm in the South. So a lot of folks there are a lot of groups out there, a lot of companies out there that have been focusing on diversity and inclusion in the outdoors, wanting to see more Black folks in the outdoors. But if you look at a lot of those groups, they're more out west or up north. No one really wanted to tackle the South. The South is tough when it comes to a topic like this, right?
Yeah.
And so the truth, the fact of the matter is our logo, our company name is true. Black Folks Camp 2. That means Black folks have camped, will camp, and are camping. The 2 means also and as well. What we do as a company, our company wasn't created just to get Black folks to camp with Black folks. Our company was created to get Black folks to camp with any and everyone, because we believe once we get everyone, Black folks, white folks, green folks, all folks around the campfire, we'll start having conversations about the very same things that are causing our country to be in an unrest right now, right? And so, I believe that the campfire, and I tell my staff this all the time, we have to believe, and we have to push that the campfire is the portal to amazing conversations. It doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your gender or your age. We all have something to say. And when you get around that campfire, have some real truth conversation. There are no walls. There's nowhere to run. We can have respectful conversations, and leave that campfire in a space that we can actually go change the world. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic, and what a wonderful outlook and great mission that you're on. It's tremendous. I'm going to learn a whole bunch more about it. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with more with Earl B. Hunter Jr. Woo. Earl B. Hunter Jr., the full name. Got it.
Right on, baby.
All
I
right.
like it, T.
All right. Black Folks Camp 2 is the name of the organization. The name of this podcast is the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Take a quick break. Back in a moment.
Hey, RV owners and those thinking about owning. Want to maximize the fun and minimize the hassle of buying an RV? You need GPS. It's Gigi's personal service. Our $350 package gets you me, the expert advice, and a host of outstanding services. Visit thervadvisor.com.
We are back on the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. My guest is Earl B. Hunter Jr. from Black Folks Camp 2. Ooh. Yes, sir. And I'll tell you, we were talking before the break about your mission, everything that's going on there. And, how does the message continue to get out there? What needs to be done? How do we get, as you say, more folks around the campfire, and all folks, everybody that we're talking about?
Right on. So here's my theory, and here's what we think, right?
Yeah.
I am not a kumbaya guy. Like, you don't have to hug me, Tom, and tell me it's going to be all right. The Black folks are going to get in the outdoors, or you don't have to hug me and tell me everything's going to be all right because of the things that have happened in the unrest of things in our country. You don't have to hug me as a Black man and say, hey, man, Earl, we're working to get better. Listen, particularly in the outdoors, there should be, the industry themselves should be wanting to get more Black folks in the outdoors, if nobody else, the RV industry, right? Because the more Black folks who drive RV want to purchase RVs, the more money the industry makes, right? So this is not a kumbaya, this is a ROI, right? This is a return on investment. And the return on investment goes both ways, right? The return on investment, as the industry starts to pour dollars into advertising and really driving Black folks into dealerships to buy RVs, then Black folks tend to take those RVs and they go explore the outdoors. And then now you get more Black folks in the outdoors. Again, this is not rocket science, right? But the thing is, though, it is something that has to be carefully done, because there's a lot of fear, particularly generational fear. There's no knowledge, right? And there's lack of knowledge, and then there's lack of invitation, right? You look at RV shows, you don't see many black folks there because they haven't really advertised the black folks to come to the shows, right? And so you look at, you don't hear the advertising about RV shows on urban radios or any of those things. And so this is not a problem. It's not an issue. It's an opportunity, right? And so I work closely with a ton of RV dealers. We're working closely with some manufacturers to really get that message to the forefront. The bottom line is this: we have the juice here at Black Folks Camp 2. We have a staff that is prepared, that's ready to drive this thing. But more than anything, when I talk about ROI, I'm not just talking about the revenue for dealers and manufacturers. I'm talking about the investment and the opportunity for Black folks to really experience the outdoor industry from the RV side, because it is truly different being in an RV versus being in the tent, right? Although I like them both, but being in an RV, and everybody's a creature of habit. We're going from our homes to a beautiful RV or a trailer, a travel trailer, a motor home. But now the transition becomes easier. The thing is, more Black folks need to and want to understand how to purchase those products. And the industry needs to be on the forefront to teach us that. Otherwise, we won't buy them, right?
Yeah. How many people are on staff there?
We have 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 folks on staff and 2 that are contract, right? And all these individuals, Tom, are in the outdoor industry. For instance, let me just tell you this. When I left the outdoor industry, when I left the RV industry in 2019, which is last year, I was probably one of, if only, the Black executive in the industry, right? Because I was the only Black individual in the industry, executive in the industry, that's not indicative to the industry not wanting to promote to Black folks, right? But the thing is, though, is this: I'm an 80-20 guy. If the industry, and I build businesses this way, if the industry is focusing 80% of their time on their customer, well, 90% of the people who buy their products are white folks. So I get it, right? Well, the difference is that Black folks, if you want to go after that $1.2 trillion that we spend every year, and you want to redirect some of that cash flow, some of that revenue into RVing, you're gonna have to go after that money. You're gonna have to go and you're gonna have to invest into us. You're gonna have to invest into what we like to do, how we like to get it done, and we're gonna have to make it easier, right? Easier for us to understand, because culturally we don't, right? And it's a hard job to do, right? It's particularly hard for folks who don't even know why we don't camp, right? And why we haven't camped and why we haven't enjoyed this lifestyle. So there are companies like mine, we teach that. We teach it and we're good at it.
When you're out there and you see, let's talk a little bit about the fruits of your labor. Like, you're out, you're working it, you're getting the word out there. You're talking about inclusiveness. It's all awesome. So now you're out camping. You're out amongst the camping community.
Right.
Have you seen it resonate? Have you seen more folks come out?
It resonates on both sides.
Yeah.
We don't listen. I don't think that 90% of the folks who are in the outdoors, particularly white folks, don't want to see Black folks out there. I don't think that at all. As a matter of fact, I think they do, and I know they do. Right. Yeah. And contrary, I don't think that Black folks don't want to be in the outdoors, because we do. Right. Both sides, and I say white folks and Black folks because if you look at the bottom half of it in regards to Black folks getting the outdoors, we're less, and in regards to who's in the outdoors, white folks are more. So that's in that particular space. I think what happens is this: when you don't know, right? Particularly when we're in the campgrounds, and I ask questions of most of the people in the campgrounds, which particularly are white, and I ask them, "Do you know why Black folks don't camp?" And they say, "No, I don't know." Right? I've always wanted to know, but I don't know. And so when I go to explain and share those knowledges why we don't, it's like an aha moment, right? But the same thing with Black folks, when I talk about, do you know about campgrounds? Did you know campgrounds had swimming pools? Did you know they have their lakefront properties or beachfront properties, or have all these games? You can ride golf carts. You have stores. This is education that folks don't have.
Yeah.
And when you don't have knowledge about something, when you don't have knowledge, you don't want to explore anything that doesn't have any knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Those things will change when the folks who want to make more money, when the folks who want to see a better society within in the campgrounds, in the camping industry, in the outdoor industry, it'll change then. Otherwise, if you're counting on Black Folks Camp 2 to do it alone, it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. So with that being said, Tom, I always say this, when individuals, not companies, but when individuals come to me, particularly white folks come to me and say, Earl, what can I do to help you move your mission? Because I think your mission is amazing. Here's what I say to them. Take your Black friends camping, right? And if you don't have any Black friends, go find some, right? This is the best time in America to go find some Black friends. Because guess what I had to do, Tom? I had to find some white friends to take me camping.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because they knew the terrain better than me. Not just RVing, they knew it better than me. So I had to be taught that, right? And so once I was taught that, now guess what I do, Tom? I take people camping.
Right. You're doing it.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
This is not rocket science.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you this. What are, you said you've had these conversations, you're out there and you meet up with people, white folks that are asking those questions as you indicated.
Yeah.
So maybe they have a set of perceptions, or maybe they don't, preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Versus the real reasons. Share a little bit about those differences. Let me give you first of all the pre-notions that I get a lot of times. I hear I always, when I ask a question, do you know why Black folks don't camp? Why let me change that. Do you know why you haven't seen a lot more Black folks camp? Because Black folks do camp. Again, that's our company name. We know that, right? So we'd be very naive to think that none of us do. Right. Well, one of them is that I don't really think the inner city, that's one of the biggest things. They live in the inner city. But here's the thing, though. There are a lot of white folks who live in the inner city and go camping, right? And Black folks who live in the inner city, we find ways to go to the amusement parks. We find ways to go to the beach. Mm-hmm. We find ways to go to any other place in those cities. But you have to ask the question, why haven't we gone outdoors, right? The next pre-notion is that, maybe they don't really have the money. Well, we find money to buy Fords. We find money to buy Mercedes. We find money to buy shoes, apparels, and everything else. That's not a true statement. It could be to some extent, but I don't think that's a true statement, right? Well, I always say to the reasons why, if you think about it, Black folks don't mountain bike, we don't kayak, we don't canoe, we don't ski, we don't camp. Anything in the outdoors, you don't see many Black folks doing, right? Any of those sports. Most folks will say, well, I see you fishing and I see you hunting. Those are survival things. I'm talking about recreation, right? Right? Well, you have to also ask this question. We're some of the most athletic people in the world. Why haven't you seen us run up and down trails? It's because of the number one thing. There's fear. The outdoors is one of the most, and particularly in the South, it's been one of the most heinous places in the world for Black folks to be, in the woods, right? That's number one. Yeah. Number two, and all that generational fear, your great-grandmother tell your grandmother tell your mother tell you, don't go in those woods because the boogeyman is in those woods, particularly in the South. I want to continue to say that. If I had not taken my children camping, they probably feel the same exact way, right? The number two reason is that there's no knowledge. Lack of knowledge keeps you from enjoying things in life, right? Lack of knowledge. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then the third thing is, and this is probably one of the most important things, the industry never invited us really. They invited us just enough, but not necessarily go all in and say, look, we want to welcome, invite, and make sure that Black folks feel comfortable in the spaces that they don't feel comfortable in. Well, you can't fix those things until you understand the why, right? If your why is that we don't have any money or that we live in the inner city, you would then say, well, they just don't want to do it.
But if you understood the why that we're afraid of the outdoors and we're afraid of the folks in the outdoors and not just the bears and the snakes, then you'll say, there's some work to be done, right? And this is not a sprint, my friend. This is a marathon. This is a marathon. But with social media, we take 10 years and bring those down to 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we got to be willing to put some work in, though. This is not just on the industry to get it done. It's not just on white folks to get it done. It's not just on black folks to get it done. It's just not on Hispanic folks to get it done, people of color to get it done. It's on all of us if we really, truly want to see a diverse diversity in campgrounds or in camping, period. Simple as that.
Well, you know, we talk about the camping community all the time on this podcast, and it is a family. We often say that it's family we haven't met yet, or it's friends we haven't met yet.
That's right,
and
man.
Suddenly they, you know, and that's I think that's just that's a great foundation, and it's a great foundation to build on.
Right.
So
but I like, and I agree with you, Tom. I like the family situation, but I got to be frank with you. I think the campfire is the greatest foundation of all.
Yeah.
And
well, your logo.
Yeah.
If you tilt your head down a little bit there and move it just a tad, there you go. There it is. Yeah. We can see it great now. It's the campfire, the 2 sticks in the campfire, and there it is, building it around the campfire.
The campfire. That's what the campfire is. Again, the portal. Yeah. To amazing conversations, my friend. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm talking about literal campfires and not. Right now, you and I are having a campfire conversation, right? Yeah. And white folks, black folks, green folks, when they get around that campfire, you start talking about the things that you have going on in your life, in your lives, and you figure out quickly that we have more sames than we have differences. One of the things I always tell folks is this right here. One of the reasons why we have so many issues in our country right now, because we're concentrating 80% of our times on our differences and 20% of the times on our sames. If we flip those, we'll have an amazing world. Well, the camping industry is like that, and I love it because when I'm camping and I'm cooking up and I'm frying my chicken and I got my pasta going or my sweet corn going, somebody smells it and they come over and they say, "Hey, Earl, what you cooking over there?" Or they didn't even know my name. They just say, "Hey, what you cooking over there?" Or when I'm backing in the RV and I need a little help, somebody comes out and help me. That right there begins campfire conversations, my friend.
Yeah. Reaching out, lending a helping hand, or you yourself help someone else. And we hear that all the time. We hear it all the time. And let's make it inclusive. That's all we need to do to get the ball rolling. And and the thing is, if you're interested, and I'm talking to our listeners, talking to our viewers, in aligning with this wonderful mission, you can start by visiting Earl's site called blackfolkscamp2.com, blackfolkscamp2.com. That's TOO also. Right.
Our social media sites, Black Folks Camp 2. We're on Twitter, IG, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff. But I got to tell you, there's some hard work to be done. See, and the hard work, my friend, is this. I promise you this: if black folks and white folks get together and enjoy camping together, right? We're going to change the world, right? We're going to change the world, but it's work on both sides, man. The folks who know camping best have to take the folks out who don't know camping at all, right? Right. They have to conjugate. They have to get things going right. And the industry has to be the same way. They have to promote that, right? And when you promote that togetherness, it happens. When you don't promote it, you get people to try to figure it out on their own. Yeah. So,
let's congregate. Let's do it. Let's follow Earl B. Hunter Jr.'s lead and the folks at Black Folks Camp 2. Love it, Earl. It's such a great idea and movement and everything you're doing to bring this to fruition and grow it. Hats off, man.
Right on, brother. I appreciate you, Tom. I appreciate you for reaching out to us, man.
I'm glad you could come on again. I'm glad. Yeah, it's been too long. Let's get you on again soon and share with us, all the great things that you're doing and great initiatives and all the things that you're doing. And again, if you want to align and learn more about this, it's blackfolkscamp2.com. Earl, thank you, my friend. We'll see you again soon. Be well, stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Right on, brother. Appreciate you, my man.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.